Congressman John Garamendi of California. Congressman, good to have you with us.
My pleasure.
Congressman, under the War Powers Act, President Obama has 60 days to deploy troops without congressional approval. Just how far do you believe he will exercise this power?
Well, I suspect he'll go the full 60 days. It's highly unlikely that this refugee issue will be resolved in the next month, month and a half. And beyond that, there are some very serious problems in the entire area that are not going to go away anytime soon. So those 60 days are going to run, and Congress must do its constitutional responsibility, which is to take up the issue, stay, expand, or get out.
Well, if we talk about stay, or get out, the reality is that there's a lot of political pressure on him either to concede to the wishes of Congress along the way as, an advisory board, so to speak, to join with him in this, but he's also facing political opposition from the likes of Lindsey Graham and John McCain. So how does he get out of that kind of conundrum?
Well, that's the political conundrum. The real conundrum is in Iraq. How do we deal with that issue there? And when we return in September, I would hope that the Congress would conduct a series of very intense briefings and hearings so that we can learn from the President what his goal is, what the extent of the engagement might be, and what the slippery slope might look like. And then we must, under the Constitution and under the Wars Power Act, we must act. We cannot fail to do so. If we fail to do so, then under the Wars Powers Act, the President must withdraw from, well, we simply must act, yes or no, move forward or not. Sure. And that's the situation, and it's our responsibility. All 535 of us share that responsibility on behalf of the American public. So it's his action now. He's doing what I think is necessary, that is dealing with the immediate situation, the refugee situation, the humanitarian situation. That he must do. We are, however, building up our troops on the ground. We are, however, starting on that slippery slope. How far it goes, we need to know, and we need to make a decision as representatives of the American people.
Well, so far the United States has executed airstrikes, and Britain has joined our forces in delivering humanitarian airdrops. Right. What do you think are the next steps from there? Because some people are saying, well, are we going to ask our allies to join us in terms of sending advisors over there? That begins to, the war creep begins to really ramp up there.
Well, exactly right. It is the creeping towards war and a slippery slope, all of that. But really, this issue is going to have to be resolved in Iraq. We need that political settlement. It seems as though Maliki's on his way out. Good. He should have been out a month ago. That he goes today or tomorrow, that's good. We need a new prime minister. We need an inclusive government in Iraq. We also need to make sure that the Kurds, the Turkish people, Syria, Jordan, all of the rest are going to be deeply involved in this, and we know that Saudi Arabia and the Gulf states, all of them are at risk. And so we need a unified political action to deal with the ISIL onslaught. If we fail to have that, then it may come to us. And then the question is, can we do this without that kind of coordinated action among all of the players in the area to do away with this very serious threat to them?
Well, let me ask you a two-pronged question about Syria. What's the difference in sentiment between this crisis in Iraq and Syria, and do you agree with Senator McCain and Graham that we should be stretching as far as Syria to do some preemptive strikes there to make sure that we cut off the head, so to speak, of ISIS?
Well, I think those two fellows would like to bomb everywhere all of the time, and have said that much over the last several years. No, I don't think we ought to follow their lead at all. There's a much more measured way to go about that. The President is going about that in a measured way. And this situation, Syria has evolved over the last 3 to 4 years in a way that has, in fact, led to the growth of the ISIL, or ISIS, and that is where we are today. Now, that situation in Syria has spilled over, major problem in Iraq, and it does require our serious attention. It requires on the humanitarian side, it also requires our attention on the political, diplomatic side, making sure that the Iraqi government becomes inclusive and not giving the Sunnis a reason to fight against the Baghdad government. And it seems as though that may be happening. The new fellow that's been appointed by the president to become the prime minister seems to have the support of the Kurdish people, as well as some of the Sunnis, if not all of them. That's a good thing. And if he could pull that together, make a more inclusive government, and then I think these airstrikes are also giving the Kurdish people and the Iraqi government a little bit of breathing time to get themselves organized, to get the proper weapons to repel and, in fact, roll back ISIL.
All right, Congressman John Garamendi, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Coming up, Hillary Clinton offers a solid solution.